Hi everyone, Tara here from Divine by Designs, and today we are going to make a single color Christmas tree topper bow. My bows are pretty big. They are 36 loops, 6 inches each, and 4 4-foot long tails. The tails really are preference. I have a 7-foot tree, so I like how it looks taking it down 2/3 of the way. You can take it down to the floor, you can make it shorter, it's whatever your preference is. Also, I have cats. So if my tails are down to the floor, the cats will definitely play with the tails, rip down the bow, and they are totally capable of taking down the whole tree. So I like to avoid that. So for my measurements, I use 2 rolls of ribbon. Each roll is 10 yards long and they're 2.5 inches wide. If you could get a 25-yard roll of ribbon, that would be even better. But for this specific ribbon, I can't. I have my utility cutting mat that I use because it has measurements on it, so it makes it easier. A scissor. I use 23 gauge floral wire. This is 18 inches long. You can use whatever you like. There are fancier ones for me. I don't really care just because I'm tying it around the tree, and that's how I will be selling them this year too. And then I also have my Deluxe Easy Bow Maker. I do know how to make these by hand, but at least for me, my hand gets really cramped because the bow gets really thick when it's 36 loops. So it's easier for me to use this, but you can use whatever you prefer. Let's get started. Okay guys, let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is measure 4 4-foot tails, 2 4-foot tails from each roll. So this is exactly 24 inches, just so you know what I am doing. So that is 2 feet. And this is 4 feet. See? So I just hold it, get my little cut, and then I will use this piece of ribbon to measure all of the other pieces of ribbon. Right, you just want to make sure that when you're doing it like this, you keep it flat so that you're getting the correct measurements. Right, so I just kind of go over it like that. And we'll put those on the side. And then put this on the side so I know which ribbon I took from. Do it again for this ribbon. So that's 1. You'll see when I start making the bow, ribbon's just flying everywhere. I try to keep everything orderly and nice, but there's just so much ribbon. You'll see. Okay. And then there we go, flattened it out. Okay, so now we have our 4 tails. I'm going to keep that on the side over here. And then we'll cut it and make it look all pretty later on. Okay, so there we go. Now what I do just to make the process go a little bit quicker, and also just in case if I run out of ribbon, or you never know, because sometimes if you go an inch off, we're cutting it really close to the 20 yards. So I go and I put them together here. And because we're not keeping the tails on, we already cut them, we want to give about 2 inches over here. Okay, just like that. And then because we doubled the ribbon, it's going to be 9 on each side. Most likely I'll be taking it off of the spool because the spool eventually will get in my way, and you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. So right now the pretty side of the ribbon is facing up, right? We don't want that because then you're making the bow inside out. So what you want to do here is twist it, right? So now the back side of the ribbon is showing. It's going to come off the spool already. The back side of the ribbon is showing. And then flatten it out like that. Make sure it's together. And I'm going to move that better so you could see. I measure it to 6 inches. See? So my finger's at 6, keeping everything tight. Get it up in the middle, push down, and then again, oh, sorry. And then again, twist so that the ugly side of the ribbon is showing. Okay. So let's try to put this back on here to make it look a little bit cleaner. Okay. So now we have our first loop. Take it to 6, all the way back in, down, twist. Make sure it's nice and flat. Hi, Chloe girl. And then back over again, pull. Flatten it at 6, so we know we're keeping the right measurements. Down, see how it's nice and flat, so we know it truly is 6 inches. When I've gone too quickly, and I can go quicker than this, I'm making it a little slower just so you guys can see every single step, but I've even messed up, and then a few of them are 7 inches, and I guess you really won't notice it, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so when I know I did that, I get upset and I'll redo the whole bow. So that's what we're trying to prevent, right? So you take it back in, push down, flip it. Remember, the back side of the ribbon should be facing up. And again, make sure it's at 6, flatten, keep your hand there, otherwise it'll move. Down again. I push it down a lot just because I know how thick it's going to get and I don't want it to overflow because then some loops could become loose and that is a problem. Okay, fingers here by 6. See how I'm pulling it so it's nice and tight. Back down, push down, flip, and then again, right? Flatten, finger down, push it down, down again, flip it over, flatten. So you basically just keep repeating this until you see how many loops you need and have. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, which means there's 8. So we still have 5 more to go. See how I told you I can't have ribbon along on my trees? They think that this is a toy. I spend so much money on toys for my cats. They don't use their toys. My life is apparently their toys. Even my hair ties. That's a toy for them. Come on, Ty. Go down. Go down. Stay here. Okay. Sorry about that. For any of you watching, if you have cats, you know the struggle. And I'm sure you're thinking, for those that don't, why doesn't she just go in a room without the cats in it and shut the door? Well, either one, my boy there, Tyler, my Russian blue, he knows how to open doors. And if I have regular round knobs, he doesn't know how to open them, but then what he does is he starts to scratch on the door and scream and cry until I open it. So one way or another, he's going to disturb you if he wants to disturb you. So there's really no, I only pay for the house and basically sleep in it. The cats are really the true owners of the house. So you see how I'm trying to hold down here, but it's starting to get harder because it's getting so thick. And this ribbon is super thick. That's something actually I wanted to mention. You don't have to use super thick ribbon. It has to be wired. But if you're using a floppier ribbon, like I have a tartan ribbon upstairs, and you know, it has like the pretty green and the red and a little bit of black in it for Christmas. The problem with that ribbon is that it's a little floppier, so it doesn't hold its shape. And with a tree topper bow, you really, really want it to hold its shape. So that's why this ribbon is a stiffer ribbon. And with stiffer, a lot of the times it means it's thicker. So it's tough because for me, I order from wholesalers and they're all online, so I can't really see the ribbon. I've just kind of lucked out with some and haven't lucked out with some other ones. But for you guys, if you're going into a store, pay attention to the texture of the ribbon. So let's see now. Pulling this tight, pull this tight over it. And how many loops is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see how we're like basically at the end of the ribbon, which it's fine because we are almost done, but it gets pretty close. So if I would have made a couple that were accidentally 8 inches, accidentally 7 inches, probably would have run out of ribbon. Okay. And all right, let's do a recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I'm not going to cut it yet. What I'm going to do is tie it. Now, some people will put this piece underneath. I never do. I kind of take it all out. Okay. Let me move that out of the way. Let me just find the middle of this. So, got it right here. So there's the middle. And then I flip it over gently. Okay, see how I'm making sure they're both matching, just so that one side's not longer than the other. Here's the perfectionist in me again. I pull super tight and twist. Okay, super tight and twist. Once more so that there's 3, and here you go. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is cut this about 2 inches. Get that out of the way. And then we will start to fluff the bow. Okay guys, so now let's add the tails and fluff the bow. So for the tails, we are going to cut them. So you see how I'm folding it in half? Flatten. Everything's about flattening, pulling, fluffing. I take it from the outside corner, not the corner where it's folded, the 2 open corners. Okay, and I cut it up. Took off about this much of the bow. So it's about maybe 1/2 inch. Again, this is all preference. You don't have to drive yourself crazy about this. And if you see when you put them on, if they're not exactly matching, not a big deal. You can just cut one a little bit more. Okay, so tails are cut and ready to go on. I'm going to put them on the side just so we could start fluffing, and then we can just attach them. And we're going to be using some of that extra wire in the back. Okay, so remember, this is 4 loops. So what you want to do is first just pull out, right? I pulled the top one down, the bottom one up. Doesn't matter how you do it, just do it the same on either side, or at least that's how I do it. Okay, there we go. And then I'm just gonna, now that you see how I do it, do one side, then do the other side. This is my favorite part because this is really the designing. The other one is just the legwork and saying a prayer that it doesn't fall apart. See? Pull, pull. That's it. And then that one. And just pulling that. And you could tug. Remember, we made that wire super tight. And this is the reason why. So that you can pull it all around and it's not creating an issue for you. Okay. Can you imagine? This is the bow, guys. No, it's not. Now what we're going to do is just kind of start to pull it out. What I do, if you can see, I hope you could see, right? That's the point of this, is I go and get my hands in the middle and I just kind of open it, right? This is what fluffing a bow is. You want to keep opening it. And eventually, the goal is for the bow to start to form a shape. So I'm just going around. I'm not paying attention to how it looks yet. Right now, I'm just going around and just fluffing everything out. Don't put that extra pressure on yourself saying, oh my God, it looks distorted. It's fine for right now. Just fluff it out. Okay, keep fluffing. And listen, every year when you pack it up, unless you're putting it in its own box, it's gonna have to be fluffed again. So even if you're not making your own bow, even if you choose to purchase one, and I will have a bunch in my shop. I'm doing this red one. I'm going to do I don't know if you guys saw my video from last year, but it was actually my tree topper bow. It's silver, and then this gorgeous satin white and silver snowflake one. So I'm doing that, doing a couple stripes, and then I think my favorite this year may be the champagne one that I'm doing. So even if you choose to buy one from me and not make it yourself, you can still use this video to fluff it out. I use high quality ribbon, so these bows should last you a very, very, very long time. And if it's done properly and packaged properly, even for a lifetime, it shouldn't get shabby. If it's not getting any sort of sun damage because it's indoors, you know, it won't be discolored. So there's no reason why you can't use it. I have ribbon still in my house, just in my old Christmas boxes from when I was a kid. So, bow's fluffed. Now what we're going to do is add the tails. So we know where the back is. We know that the back is here, right? And then after the tails, that is when we are going to make it look nice. So what we're going to do here is get all four, not where I cut it, the other end. See how it's not cut? We're going to put them all together here. Okay. You see, we have the two pieces of wire here. It's harder to see because it's a darker color. I'm going to take about an inch, just so there's a little extra space, and pull that wire super tight again. Twist it, twist it, and then there you go. Okay, so the tails I'm not worried about right now, but all you're gonna do is I grab the back of the bow like this, okay? I normally look at it, but for this purpose, just separating the tails, right? See? Now you're like, well, this doesn't look like a tree topper bow. You were right, it does not. This is where we're going to now style it. Again, I usually just have it facing me, but it is not about me. It's about you guys today. So I am going to start to, you want this to look full. You see how it looks like someone punched it? We don't want that. So I'm pulling this ribbon. Oh, these tails. I'm pulling this ribbon up. No one's going to see the back of the bow. Not that I'm saying to neglect it, but it's going to be against the tree, right? It's going to lay on top or against the tree. So this is the part that everyone is going to see, the front of it and the sides of it. So that is really what you want to focus on. Okay, now I'm just flipping it up so I could see it, to see what I'm showing you. And where you see gaps, it's just like making a wreath. When I see a gap, I add some sort of something, another flower, more greenery, a wildflower, same thing. We want this to look super full, as it should, right? It's a big bow, so it should look full. Putting that one right in the center there. What's frustrating about making a bow is as you're making it and you're moving it around, the other ones that you just position move. So sometimes you're repeating some of your work, but it's okay because eventually it'll stop repeating itself and you will be fine. Okay, now I'm at the sides. I want to make sure there's ribbon everywhere. When you're making a bow this big, there should be ribbon everywhere. You see how like that one was folded? You want to go back and fluff it out. Nothing should be folded down. When you do that, when you take it out of storage, it will be folded down, and that is what you want to prevent. So I'm just going to flip it towards me just to take a look at it. And then I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. So here, see that little tail? I'm seeing it. I don't want to see it. I need that buried in the bow. So I'm just kind of pushing it down here. See? All the way down here. And then fluffing this out. And see how it's gone? That's what you want to pay attention to. I'm liking how it's looking, but we are not there yet. We'll be there soon, just not yet. You know, when I'm doing this on my own, I put on some music. It's very relaxing to me. You know, a lot of the times I think people get so frustrated and so stressed, and I get it because I get frustrated so easily sometimes at work, but it's not worth it. You know, if you're doing this in the winter as a wreath maker, I have to do all of this stuff super early. Right now it is the end of June in New Jersey and 85 degrees out, and I'm playing with Christmas ribbon. But for you guys, you're probably doing it in November, December. So make some hot chocolate, just relax and make a gorgeous bow. See how it's starting to come along? The sides look pretty good too. This looks pretty good too. I'm just fixing up a few things. Oh, Nikki. Sorry, something was beeping outside. Nick! Nick! I have a cavalier. You can probably hear him. Nikki! Hey. Okay. Just looking at the sides, like there looked like there was a little gap there. Bringing this one up more. It's kind of fighting with me, so I had to move another ribbon. But I think it looks pretty good. I always like to have the one loop in the middle, because like when you're making a regular bow, you'll see that loop in the middle. But there you have it, guys. Your new tree topper bow. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to come back soon for shop updates, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe so you can get notifications for all of my different videos.